to use it absolutely preemptively, but it was very clear that he was trying to hit that timing and he wasn't getting it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that pop up, at least not in game 2. Maybe give it a rest for another game before ROCCAT decides to pick him up, as we are in Dragonshire this time around. The other thing I want to bring up is also, of course, the talent choices for the Chen. I mean, making sure that, oh, there's no stuns. It's not just me that's going to get the shield. Everyone's going to get the shield when I start drinking my brew. We're all happy here on the side of Dignitas. I think smart choices by Dig overall.
Absolutely. And I mean, Enough to Share is such a cool talent to have when it comes to, buffing your more squishy heroes such as Kael'thas in the back line. If he's not going ham, I mean, Ethereal Angel actually win.
Yeah, and Kael'thas could take a greedy talent partly because Chen is such a nice lightning rod, diverting people's attention. Even went for backdraft, chain bomb spreading, doing 50% slow on everyone that it hits. So that's very cool to see. Now, with the next draft starting, Team ROCCAT versus Dignitas, a 1-0 lead for Dignitas. We see the initial bans being Jaina and Zeratul. The two best warriors are being picked up, Johanna and Leoric, and the best support. So not too big of a surprise anyway.
I mean, as we were talking about, I mean, the Kharazim, you mentioned exactly, well, Divine Shield, it's much easier to just use it when you need to, and you're never really going to miss, quote unquote. So therefore, Uther being picked up right away for ROCCAT, they don't have to worry about having necessarily that finer finesse with the support. You know you're going to get value out of that support pickup.
Okay, well, Dignitas likely going to pick up Kharazim, Kael'thas, for that early assassin. But when it comes to the support role, there's so many reactionary picks they can go for. Considering Uther has been picked up, they do pick up Kharazim.
But why do you pick up Kharazim now, Jake? Like, you're not going to go Uther Kharazim in a team, at least we haven't seen it yet. So it's not so much that you're, you want to prevent it from being banned out, right?
I actually just think it's the confidence of Bakery shining through because of how strong he is on that hero.
But don't you think they're afraid it will get banned? Or are they potentially hiding their final two picks?
I mean,
which one do you think weighs more?
I think it's a combination of both. ROCCAT knows how good Bakery is with Kharazim, so it's not a bad ban for them. But hiding, like you said, to leave those last two picks as a responsive is a very strong way to approach the draft.
Well, I mean, I want to bring up the question then, because you mentioned the possibility of maybe they were afraid of it being banned. If, for instance, Kharazim was left and it had been banned, do you think some of the other supports that are left would have been a little bit more situational or worrisome for Dignitas, and that's why they decided just to cure Kharazim?
Well, the Malfurion's really strong in Dragonshire. The roots have great control. I mean, Tranquility, you can never count it out. So definitely very good. But just stylistically for Dignitas, I think it makes a lot of sense.
You have problems against Burst. If you have neither Uther or Kharazim, you can die to Extreme Burst. And we have Uther on Team ROCCAT side already. So they can go Kerrigan or Butcher, and that is Burst. And then you will die before an Ancestral Healing would go off. So Rhaegar is inferior. Lily cannot do it. Brightwing could do it, though. She's great against Burst so long as you preempt with the face shield, but we haven't seen her this tournament yet.
And there we go. We have the Anubarak coming in for Team ROCCAT. Anubarak, he's been actually banned already today. And I really like this choice.
He's been banned but not picked.
Yeah,
exactly.
interestingly enough.
It's the first time we see that hero. And I think he's massively underrated. On Dragonshire, he can actually, use his Burrow Charge to escape sticky situations. There are a lot of choke points, a lot of walls that you can dive through. I think it is a very situational but a very effective pick.
Yeah, you can also cause sticky situations with that Web Blast now recoined into Cocoon, taking out a key pivotal role of the opponent. Generally, you won't see a Cocoon on a second warrior or a second damage dealer. Typically, it will be on the single damage dealer if there's only one, or a single healer support. So
and so far we're seeing a possible situation like that on Dignitas. Kharazim and Kael'thas both looking like really good targets for that Cocoon, and Nazeebo showing up once again today. He's getting a lot of spotlight time on the main stage.
Yeah, I know Chris from Team ROCCAT, he really likes to play Nazeebo. He also used them in the match where they qualified yesterday against, was it G2? Fnatic.
Yeah, Fnatic.
Yes, in that match on Battlefield of Eternity, no, Infernal Shrines, he used Nazeebo to great effect.
All right.
Tyrael, once again, teams seem to have really discovered Tyrael as a second warrior that fits to a lot of playstyles. You can go aggressive, you can go defensive if you pick Sanctification. To me, hopefully they're not going to repeat the same mistake that ROCCAT did last game and choose the wrong, in my opinion, the wrong heroic ability in the wrong game.
Well, I mean, he's also a great response for the fact that we do have Nazeebo on the table, right? Ravenous Spirit's a massive threat. So in the event that you think you need Judgment, it's a great option to deny that heroic ability, and then you're on top of Nazeebo, you've dove on him, and you can suddenly apply a lot of pressure, forcing him out of that fight.
I have a question, because personally, I have not done this yet, and maybe it's happened before. If you're Nazebo and you take Gargantuan and you summon Gargantuan and then you channel the Dragon Knight, are you the Dragon Knight?
But the Gargantuan walks back to the Hall of the Storms and,
is that what
bows his head in shame that he didn't fit into the Dragon Knight with Nazebo.
I see. Okay, yeah, I was just curious because I was like, what does happen if that happens? But I'm glad you figured that out. So we'll keep that one right on the shelves. But Nazebo, of course, you've talked about it. The Ravenous Spirit's still going to be a big threat, and therefore the Tyrael. Now we're seeing that counterplay once again. Now it's mind games as we jump.
Does Nazebo actually have 100% win rate today?
Nope.
No. Because he was used in all 3 games.
Yeah,
for a
that's right.
66% win rate in the other series.
But not
You're so
bad
good at math,
all.
Grubby.
Well, it's 2 out of 3.
So now that we've seen Raynor being picked up on the side of Dignitas and then Vala to round it out for, of course, ROCCAT, what are we looking at in terms of what we talked about earlier? Do you think we'll still see maybe the possibility of the Cocoon coming out for Anubarak?
I think Vala would have actually been a good choice for Dignitas as well. I mean, if Anubarak decided to go for that Cocoon, Vala is an ideal counter for that. She uses Strafe, pops the Cocoon immediately.
If it doesn't get used on her reactively.
Exactly.
It goes both ways. It really does.
Yeah.
Well, right, it does. But since you already have Kel'Thas, you're bringing up the fact that, well, now Anubarak really would have had to make a hard choice. But on this side, I mean, it's Raynor and Kel'Thas, and then you have that Kharazim. I mean, any of those 3 really wouldn't be a bad target if you chose to go the Cocoon for your heroic.
What I like about these 2 comps here is that both of them have damage, a strong front line, a solid healer, and they have stuns.
Yeah.
They're not missing any of the critical parts that comprises a well-balanced and well-rounded team. And then it's on Dragonshire, and this is a very... Yeah, I mean, it's just cool. Like, they have 2 well-balanced teams. And skill and positioning, and especially rotating on Dragonshire is going to decide.
Right, and the rotations, when you have Raynor, he can pick up Seasoned Marksman. That's going to make him such a powerful hero in the late game versus a Double Warrior. I mean, you can just blow up Leoric in the late game. So, some pretty cool approaches to Dragonshire. Probably the most common battleground in all of competitive Heroes of Storm region-wide. So, this is going to be an interesting display of combat.
Yeah, I mean, one of the battlegrounds that was highlighted in the very beginning, before the game was even come out in Alpha, this was kind of like this is our standard. This is going to be the go-to. This is the battleground that everyone knows. Like you mentioned, Greg, I like that you bring that up. We're seeing pretty evenly matched compositions in terms of what they're able to do. It should be a fun game.
It should be a fun game indeed, especially if you consider the fact of how Dragonshire is designed. You normally don't group up too much because you have to take control of both shrines on the top and on the bottom, so that could cause some splitting maybe, which will turn these balanced comps into something a little bit messy.
Yeah, that's true. It becomes imbalanced if you only have 1 warrior, then 2 lanes have to do without 1. So 2 warriors is very solid. Oftentimes we've seen double support because either the top or the bottom can be healed. In the lack of having double support, which isn't that trending anymore, you can actually go for heroes that can heal themselves very well. Like Anubarak has a shield, Tyrael has a shield, take lots of defensive talent.
Yeah, a little bit more survivability on their own. Well, ladies and gentlemen, currently we do have Dignitas leading 1-0 in a best of 5 against ROCCAT for a spot at BlizzCon at the finals here, the European Championship for Heroes of the Storm. 2 things on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, let's find out what happens in Game 2 with Todd and Kalaris.
Yes, indeed, as we get into our second game here between these 2 in this best of 5. So overall, it's kind of an interesting situation we're in, really, because ROCCAT all day yesterday looked to be in an extremely strong and confident position. But now, going in against Dignitas, a lot of the teams in Group B, their semi-final is basically going to be the toughest challenge of them all because of how stacked Group A was.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, even going into this match, it's like these 2, they're very, very good on paper. Dignitas was one of the teams that I think a lot of people would have said was going to do well in this tournament here and potentially qualify for BlizzCon. ROCCAT probably not much, but after the performance they've had so far, I wouldn't be surprised if they made it themselves.
Exactly. I'm divided because as much as I would love to see Brits make their way to BlizzCon, that's like something that's never happened in the history of time.
Well, there's been a lot of casters and hosts. But...
Oh, that's true. At the same time, I've got the Germans, who is kind of like my adopted nation, on the other side in Team ROCCAT. Hasuob, Soccer, that we've known for a long time here in not only StarCraft before this, but now here is the Storm pushing through. And ROCCAT has come on leaps and bounds as a team. Very, very strong. But as you can see, obviously, going from Team of the Spider Queen, we are now jumping on to Dragonshire here for game number 2. It's a map which is composed of 3 lanes, and across those 3 lanes, you do have 5 mercenary camps in total. 2 giant camps down towards the bottom lane, and then 3 hard camps distributed across the map. Once you're able to control the 2 shrines positioned towards the north and the south, you're eventually able to channel in the middle, freeing the Dragon Knight. And the Dragon Knight, let's be honest, Todd, it's pretty strong, it hits pretty hard, and it's got some fiery breath.
Yeah, it's really, really good. A lot of the teams, sometimes they commit a lot to try and get it because they know the strength that it's going to give you. A lot of the time it's going to result in an experience lead. Having an Uther on their team here, actually, Team ROCCAT, there's something really cool that they could do. If at some point they end up having both shrines and that are not being contested, it's use Divine Shield on one of their hero and then channel and get that Dragon Knight, and which would be interrupted then.
All right, well, let's get into it then. Game number 2 here between Team ROCCAT and Dignitas. So we get onto Dragonshire, and to the left-hand side, it will be Team ROCCAT with Chris going to be playing Valor. Zocca will be playing the Anubarak. We have Hasuobs on Nazebo. Shadowmare will be on Uther. And finally, Sports Billy is on Leoric. And then to the right-hand side, we have our Team Dignitas with Zarmany playing Johanna, ADRD playing Kael'thas, Snitch playing Reyna, Athero on his ever-so-lovable Tyrael, and finally Bakery on his usual go-to, it's Karazin.
Is Sport Billy ever on anything else than Leoric? I actually wonder what those statistics are. Like, it's like 80% of his games or something.
Yeah, it is a lot. It's a lot for sure. And as you can see already, we're seeing Team ROCCAT actually blocking off those minions. Once again, just slowing them down so they can get the fight in the middle lane. Oh!
What a cool little trick here by Nazebo. And this is why ROCCAT, they know every single trick like this with Nazebo.
That was really cool.
Very good at comboing their spells, their stunts with zombie walls very nicely.
Getting the fight over to their side of the map, that's for sure. And at least that will aid them if they needed to retreat out, if they got themselves in a pesky situation. I think during the qualifiers alone, when I looked down what Shadowmare actually, Sports Billy actually played during the qualifiers, Leoric was like 50% across the champion hero pool of having Leoric in there, having a Nubarak in there, even a Tyrande or 2. So he's been on Leoric a lot.
He loves it. In this case, I don't think we have any surprise in particular here at level 1 with the talent. Snitch gonna get caught here for a second. He's gonna be able to make it out here though.
And Adrenal Boost will be keeping him alive along with all of that, so good job as well. Just to be able to get away from there, but don't want to be giving any of these kills over too early.
Bakery gonna be trying to show here to Shadowmare how it's done with the Divine Palm here, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Down the line if you were to go for that heroic. Soke, stayed there for a very long time here. He's gonna be taking a lot of damage.
And overall, as we do get into this game, you're just going to have to try and wrestle these shrines away. Oftentimes in these pro-level games, you see it very, very slowly developing out because these shrines are so heavily contested early on.
It's a very interesting duel that we have in the top lane, actually, with Nazebo taking on Tyrael here. Tyrael is a hero that if you underestimate him, you will pay the price for it, because he will live with just a very few hit points and end up killing you. So standing on that shrine is going to be very hard for Azuops at the top lane, and he's going to need help eventually to, I think, capture it.
Bakery's just going to hold on for a little bit longer. He doesn't have that much mana, so he can't really stick around there for too much longer, especially with Sports Billy rotating on around after clearing up the middle lane.
Bakery is just so good with Karazin. He understands every single spell, like how they work, how they should be used properly, and I really feel like that's what makes him so good at it, not just the fact that he can Divine Palm in time.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's a virtuoso when it comes to Karazin, that's for sure. Locust Needles has been picked up here for a Nubarak, which increases the damage dealt on your basic attacks after, in an area around it by 50%. So it can be quite powerful here. The very weak damage. ADRD is going to end up going down. That's going to be first blood going over to Team ROCCAT, but at the same time, the counter kill on towards Nubarak.
And nicely done here by Dignitas, salvaging the situation. They lose one, but they kill one at least with it. Now they're going to be keeping up in experience very nicely themselves. And it's very equal here so far. 1 kill for 1 kill, exactly the same, or about the same experience count here.
Look at these healers fighting and doing almost nothing to one another.
Shadowmare is getting kicked the crap out of here right now, it looked like.
Bakery has the advantage of being able to do damage and heal at the same time, thanks to Transcendence. No mana talents from Chobra working their way into this one.
Someday.
One
team will finally do it, and then they will lose horribly, and we will never mention it again.
Well, Snitch is a little bit on the back foot there. Adrenal Boost will be able to help him out there and keep himself alive against that Drain Hope.
Yeah, the game is kind of slowed down here for now. It seems like ROCCAT, they don't want to try to challenge too much here at the bottom for that shrine because they've only got 2 heroes there and it's not been going well for them so far. The thing is, it kind of feels like they have to, just because at the top lane, Nazeebo has been struggling, but now Nazeebo identifies that TRL left that lane. He's going to try to capture it, but TRL is going to be right in there, probably jumping on top of him.
Oh, actually stops Hasuops from being able to counter that, so this threat is still certainly real here to maybe try and put on some pressure towards the mid. Leoric, though, will be able to hold there for quite a while, especially since Zarman doesn't have the health to do so.
Hazu's been having a really hard time here against that TRL. I mean, Nazeebo against TRL can be a tough matchup. Bakery.
Tyrell's certainly pretty good in a lot of instances. Bakery trying to Radiant dash out of there. This could be Dragon Knight if they're not careful. And at the same time, they do manage to capture the bottom shrine, so it's all okay after pushing Bakery away in that initial fight.
Every time we look at top lane, TRL is chasing Nazeebo away. Yeah. Poor Hazu's not been having the funnest of times here.
Oh, ADRD was... Oh, no, okay. So he's got Zarmani behind him. I was a little bit worried for his position there for a moment, if there'd have been a rotation all around to him from some direction. And as we do have level 7 coming in with his urticating spines here for Anubarak. Again, a hero we see a little bit less commonly here in the European Road to BlizzCon. So it does basically allow your hardened carapace to deal some damage to nearby enemies. So again, another little emphasis here from Anubarak on some AoE damage.
It's interesting. I guess he might be going for Do you think he goes for Cocoon, actually? It's always like, it feels so equal in this case. Like, both heroics can come in really handy.
It's a good question.
Situational, but it feels like in this game, either would be fine.
Yeah, both of them definitely have their merits.
With these talents, though, Locust Swarm, it's very encouraging, I think, to go for Locust Swarm, just because then you have even more survivability, and then you can use that damage that you've built up in terms of
Tyrell have Eldarune's Might up there? He's in a very, very bad spot. He doesn't have that much mana as well. He's going to be, trying to speed himself up there with the Smite. The rotation comes around to help on out here. They may have committed a little bit too much. Zocca should have a Burrow Charge available, though, now.
Here comes the Cavalry here, and that applies for both teams. Pulse Billy is going to be getting right in there. They trap Johanna. Can they get her?
Zombie wall. That was a lot of AoE damage coming out. They're going to have to back on off. Very, very careful about that. Karazim's going to control the Dragon Knight from being contested. And at the same time, down towards the bot lane, I think somebody's under threat. And they do actually pick up the Reyna there. So good choice.
Yeah, I think they realized that there were 2 down there and caught Reyna out of position for just 1 second. ROCCAT with the earlier level 10 here. Acquired Bakery, trying to kick Spot Billy. Cocoon's going to be used here.
Oh, perfect move. Picking up the web wrap here just in time for them to be actually able to get that. And it all comes back to that Reyna kill. If they hadn't have got that, maybe that could have been contested down towards the bottom shrine. The Sports Billy getting himself the Dragon Knight. Maybe they can get themselves a few structures killed off.
Very quick thinking on his feet here by Zocca. I think he quickly identified that the shrines weren't being contested and there was enough time here. Much like with the Divine Shield that you see sometimes being used here. Cocoon isolated at one hero, which was the only one in range to potentially cancel that. So Sport Billy now gets a Dragon Knight. He's not just going to rush in there, lose all the hit points and waste it. He's just going to take his time, keep on breathing some fire here on those minions, and ideally do some structure damage on that mid wall.
Yeah, even if you just allow yourself to kill off the minions before you push on towards the buildings, then the buildings tank up are shooting against the minions as they push on in. So the Dragon Knight can be a little bit more healthy as it does go far forwards, but they're trying to blow up Arthuro, and he does react very quickly. Eldarune's Smite on out. Good stuff by him.
Yeah, he needs to be careful though. He goes a little bit too far forward here in the middle of 4 heroes. Usually that's when you get blown up and killed pretty much instantly.
Whilst all that fighting was going on, they didn't do anything with that Dragon Knight towards the mid. They hardly did any structural damage. They were just looking to get the lane clear. But that's it, nothing more.
It really seems like that was a little bit wasted here of a Drake, but I guess once more, it's one of those times where you don't necessarily have to rush in there as long as you can, keep it and keep on killing those minions with. Like, there was no other choice, really. Like, you can run into those buildings, but then you will lose the Drake so fast anyway, so...
I have a slight theory, which is Team ROCCAT might be looking to play this game out very, very long. And if they are doing and don't want to do any structural damage, then they're saying, well, we don't mind if your minions actually do arrive at us, and then we're able to push it towards the late game, going on level pegging and experience. But other than that, I can't really think of any other reason, because if they've done structural damage, then the minions will be further away for them to try and soak.
You have a good point, and it wouldn't be the first time they try to play decently slow.
Indeed, indeed.
ROCCAT and Hazu really known for this. I think Hazu in particular.
Yeah, we're very used to these guys as in the European scene, especially in the Major League, for example, where they've played some very kind of patient games. And at the moment, that's the only way I can make sense of that move.
Of course, we're used of it. Hazu has been doing. He's been playing it slow for the last 12 years on Warcraft 3, on StarCraft 2, and now on Heroes of the Storm at times. Even though, like we say that a lot, and sometimes I feel like we emphasize it a little bit too much, like we kind of sell ROCCAT as this very slow team. They can play in an explosive game and do well in it. We've seen that in the past before. But generally speaking, they like to play in games where you go for the objectives that you have to go for, then you go for camps, and there isn't that many deaths in general.
And it's up to Team Dignitas here. Really seize the initiative from Team ROCCAT. ROCCAT is basically just waiting for their opponents to try and make mistakes. Zami quite far forward. He's got Athero here with him though. Condemn will be able to clean up a good amount of that zombie wall, but not enough room to try and get on out there, and he will end up getting blown up. So that's a good kill there for ROCCAT. It's 3-1 now in favor of Team ROCCAT.
Yeah, doing a pretty good job here with a slight experience lead as well. The fact that his judgment is going to make it very interesting. Zero Angel gets caught.
Oh, Divine Palm. Okay, so that will land and save for a little while. There's the judgment on towards Chris here, though. Valor very, very isolated out from the rest of the team, and they're all very low at the moment. So I think Team ROCCAT has to completely disengage from this unless they're able to globe stitch. But they managed to pick up the Valor there with that penetrating round. And the bombs were able to pick up on Uther.
That was crazy by Snitch, because there was two other heroes that were closer to him, but he ran way past them here. He wanted to make sure that he got Snitch on the...
They're going to capitalize on all of this. They are going to capitalize with the Hyperion able to barrel down on towards this fort as well. This is almost a guaranteed kill. And now they're heading back towards Shrines here. Team Dignitas is looking to establish good map control whilst ROCCAT are on the back foot.
I think it's a very good adjustment of Nazeebo to go for Ice Block, by the way.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. Yorick, well, goodbye.
Yeah. Bye-bye, Sports Billy.
Yeah, he'll be back in 12 seconds.
Yeah. I think it's something that is particular to Chris at the moment. Oh, Johanna. It's going to be trade for trade at the moment by the looks of things. There's no way he's going to be able to get away from that hungering arrow.
These shrines are making this game becoming slowly but surely a slugfest here.
Yeah, very, very heavy emphasis on just small pickoffs here and there. 4 for 4 kills. And, in terms of the talents for Nazeebo, Chris has never really been one to actually go for the frog build at the moment. But we do see the web wrap going down. Bakery gonna break him out there.
Literally.
Whoop, and Chris gonna have Radiant dash on towards him from Bakery. Second charge gets used to go a little bit defensive. And actually, that smite missed. It was just slightly out of range there from Chris. And that was a big mistake there by Athero, who tried to delay that Dragon Knight from being taken.
And Dignitas is now closer to level 16, so even though there is a Dragon Knight here for ROCCAT, there is potential here that they could be in trouble if some fight was to be forced.
Level 16.
Before this comes into play. And another Drake that's really not doing much here. He's running away from the opponents.
It's almost as if they're just trying to deny it from their opponents. I mean, 2 now have gone towards ROCCAT, and they haven't really done much at all. This is very, very far back here for Chris, as they slowly delay out this fight, this team fight even more.
Yeah, level 16 here will come into play eventually for Team ROCCAT. Double imposing presence.
Yeah, double imposing presence, but as this fight goes down here, what I'm really, really scared of is backdraft as well as execution on towards Reyna. There's going to be a lot of damage done here from them if they're actually going to a proper team fight. That's another deadly Yorick with that March of the Black King. He can't redirect himself once he activates that, so his team, they left him. They left him for dead.
And this was a 4-on-4, while there's a 1-on-1 here happening at the bottom between Chris and Snitch, which so far looks like Chris doing all right. He really brought down Switch to very few hit points.
I'm very scared for Team ROCCAT right now. Looking at the composition that we're seeing here from Dignitas, how they've been playing out. Yeah, they've been getting a few kills in there, but again, it's been slow here from ROCCAT. Not really seizing too much of the initiative at all. Easy camp is going to be taken away from them towards his bottom lane.
Equal on talents here, ROCCAT. They were afraid to go into that fight. I guess Leoric was too far away for them to engage anyway, so they're just going to resume soaking here from there across 3 lanes.
Another easy camp goes away. Soccer starts the bruiser camp up towards the top left. Try and allow that to push forwards against the top 4.
Zarmoni and Sport Billy here having a stare-down contest in top lane for a second. I can't believe these Drakes did so little. Like, this is the first time I've seen Dragon Knights doing absolutely nothing in terms of siege damage, and I think that was the second one as well.
It's a little bit out of the ordinary, that is for sure. But ROCCAT has to know what they're doing. I mean, there has to be a good reason as to why they weren't so aggressive with them. Hardcamp's going to be taken down towards the bottom. It will push out against this, and that's one of the most important little thoughts here, because if you're able to break down the bottom lane, you've got potentially 3 camps later on that can really start putting on the pressure there when a fight is navigated elsewhere on the map. So doing damage here is big for Team Dignitas.
Actually, that is a lot of mercenaries here with those bruisers plus the easy camp. They try and get a fight out of this.
Leoric's far away still. Very, very far away. Sports Billy in the bush. Not even looking to join that fight. Just soaking some experience here and there.
So funny because you can tell like Leoric is getting really paranoid. Like so many Leorics have died when they were just by themselves and thought that they couldn't die. But they are now being a lot more careful.
Not invincible, just undying. That's the motto basically here for Leoric. And every single time you do die here as Leoric, then you're giving away quite a lot of experience to your opponents. He will be able to get out here though with Harden's Bones at level 4. It's a pretty good talent.
Oh, it's the best one I heard.
Yes. Everything else.
Hero Angel could be in trouble here. He's going to get chased down a little bit. Can he make it out? He's going to get Cocoon, which might give enough time here.
Oh,
his teammates to come in and help him.
They were scared. They were in such a choke point there that the chain bomb could have done a lot of damage to them. Good save by ADRD.
If ROCCAT had known that there was only ADRD there, I think they would have just stayed, killed him, and done really well. But they didn't know, so they're just going to pull back. What a bluff by ADRD. Just kind of ran in there like he owned the place, and it worked.
That's the most confident Scalefass ever. He just charges in almost like a melee assassin and just goes for it. But anyway, up towards the top. There was Johanna against Leoric for a moment there, but it looks like Zarmany's abandoned that. They're approaching level 20 here. They could try and take themselves a fight pretty soon. Oh, there's Blessed Shield on towards Zoki here, trying to get the blow up on towards him. Holy Ground has actually been able to keep him in. Divine Shield's been used as well. They're looking to go for the stun straight onto Shadow Mare. He's going to be locked down for a while. There's Palm as well towards the back. ADRD is going to be kept alive. They bring down the Uther as well. He's still going to be in the fight though, keeping heals up with his Spirit Form here and trying to help out his team for as long as possible. But Sports Billy is caught in the thick of things. Zarmany's still alive at the front. The level 20 hit during this. He pops indestructible just as he gets that. Brilliant little stuff there from Team Dignitas.
Yeah, a huge win here with an almost full team wipe. Prips is going to be able to make it out of there, but now Dignitas, they're going to secure the Dragon Knight. They're on level 20 against 18, and they got so much time here to do damage, already having killed 2 forts as well. They're going to push so far here this time. They're going to show ROCCAT how to properly use the Dragon Knight, Kailaris.
His indestructible popped like as they hit level 20. That was really good stuff. Great reaction times there by Zarmany to make sure he wasn't going to die off. And that really now puts himself in a brilliant position here. And they're going to take themselves Dragon Knight, and you can guarantee here Dignitas is not going to be as passive with this one.
Yeah, putting one of the tanks here in the Dragon Knight also one of the great ways that you can do this. That Siege Camp's even going to be pushing it at the bottom. Instead of going through the middle here, Dignitas, they go straight to the bottom lane here. I guess they want to have the Siege Giants here helping with the push.
It's a very important lane. We were mentioning it before with the camps. So important. Just couple it up with this. You'll be able to do guaranteed damage much quicker and allow your Dragon Knight to continue on forwards. Wait for even the minions to come in here as Athero just wants to get as much damage done as possible. You don't want to keep shooting your Dragon Knight because it does slow down the attacks quite considerably.
This is just unstoppable here right now. There's no way you can attack into a Dragon Knight that's going to be kicking you away, plus these 4 Siege Giants that are wrecking everything here right now.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of damage here. Athero still has 30 seconds left on his Dragon Knight. It's very healthy. ROCCAT does not have level 20 yet. They're trying to stall out this for as long as possible. The Siege minions are just hitting whatever. They don't care.
Snitch is literally shooting these guys from like a monitor away, it feels like. He's shooting from so far and doing so much damage with the Nexus Frenzy.
They're going to right-click on the core here. This might be the end of game number 2. Uther's already ended up blowing up here. This is the one opportunity for ROCCAT to try and deal with it before they even get level 20. Reyna's gone down at the back lines, but they're going to try and push him away. The Hyperion is doing a lot of damage. Athero is just going to right-click on the core, and I don't think there's any way to save it here from Athero at all, as he can just right-click on towards it and get the kill. That is going to be 2-0 here in this best of 5, as Team Dignitas secures themselves a great spot. They are 1 game away from qualifying to BlizzCon and the grand finals of the European Championship.